Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we are going to be talking about another large storm that's going to be coming to the United States as we get into the end of this week. And this is going to bring a lot of impacts, as not only does this storm look to bring the potential for significant severe weather across a pretty good chunk of the United States, but we will also likely see freezing rain and heavy snowfall across the extreme northern part of the United States, including the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and all the way over there into the Northeast. And then we may also see some flooding with this system too, as well, as there is a high risk for flash flooding down there in Texas, which we will talk about in today's forecast. Let's first start off by talking about what's going to happen across the country over the next few days. And you guys can see that for today, there is two slight risks for severe weather. One is across northwest Missouri, southwest Iowa, into parts there of southeast Nebraska and northeast Kansas. You guys will likely be at risk for severe storms for today. And one of the things that we need to keep an eye on for today is hail, especially. Hail is going to be the main concern for today, but even a tornado or two will be possible in both areas, including southern Texas. And then for winds doesn't look to be the major concern, but we still could see some winds potentially gusting up to 60 miles per hour in some of those storms, so we will still keep an eye on it very closely. Once we get into tomorrow, the severe weather threat starts to get a little smaller, but we will still have some marginal threats for severe weather, one across the northern United States, including the upper Midwest, and then another one down here along the Gulf Coast, including parts there of Louisiana and Texas. Main concerns for tomorrow will also be the potential for some hail, especially because the hail threat includes the entire area in both of those marginal threats. Tornado threat, we may see a tornado or two, but it's very marginal overall. And then for wind threat, we could also see some isolated damaging winds as high as 60 miles per hour, so we will keep an eye on it very closely. And then the last day is day 3, where we do also have a marginal risk for severe weather. They haven't issued the hazards yet, but it is still something to keep an eye on, as I do think Saturday will be a day to watch for, so make sure you keep that in mind. Here's when it really starts to get interesting, because once we get into Sunday, we do actually have a slight risk for severe weather heading from southeast Texas all the way up there into the Ohio Valley, where damaging winds, very large hail, and even a few tornadoes, some of which could potentially be on the stronger side of things, will be possible across this entire yellow color. And same even as we get into day 5, where that threat is going to continue along the Gulf Coast and even impact areas along the East Coast. So we still want you guys to be on high alert if you guys do live in one of these yellow colors, because for day 4, which is what I'm showing right now, will be for Sunday into Monday of next week. And then for day 5, this will be for Monday into Tuesday of next week. So right after the big severe weather day, we could still be seeing even some major severe weather on Monday of next week, depending on how things look right after the big day, which looks to be on Sunday. Let's now talk about the flooding threat. Flooding is also going to be another big concern once we get into these big severe weather events, because for today we actually do have 2 areas to watch for. We got one down here in southeast Texas, where we do have a moderate risk for flash flooding, which I do consider that a high risk for flash flooding, by the way, because a moderate risk means we could be seeing some very high rainfall totals, and we might even be seeing some areas see some life-threatening flooding depending on how this plays out. But down there in Texas, just to quickly show you guys, we could potentially be seeing anywhere from 1 to even 3 inches of rainfall down there, guys. It would be pretty wild if we ended up seeing that much rainfall, but from what we know so far, it really is gonna be something to keep an eye on, as 1 to even 4 inches of rain is possible. So make sure you guys down there in Texas are paying attention, as I do think some of these areas could even see rainfall totals even as high as 5 inches, and that's the reason why we got that moderate risk in effect. But back to what we were showing you guys before, we even got a risk for flash flooding even up here across the Midwest, heading from Iowa all the way back down there into western Kentucky and southwest Indiana, where we may see some isolated flooding, but nothing really crazy compared to down here in Texas like what I just showed you. Once we get into day 2, which will be for tomorrow, the flood threat does look to continue across these areas. Then for day 3, we may see, this continue across parts there of Texas and Louisiana. Once we get into, Saturday, we will see the flood threat continue across those areas. And then for Sunday is going to be the big day, like I said, where we could be seeing widespread severe weather, and that's the reason why we do have a threat for widespread isolated flash flooding heading from the deep south all the way up there into the Ohio Valley, which we will need to watch very closely. Let's now really talk about why we are really seeing this storm and, of course, the significant severe weather, which both looks to be concerning because, like I said, we got those storms even ongoing for the next few days, which could be bringing isolated severe weather to parts there of the Midwest and as well as the northern United States. But look at this storm, guys, once it really comes together. This is pretty crazy, especially when you see those pink colors. Can you guys guess what those pink colors indicate? Freezing rain. Freezing rain is going to be a possibility across the UP of Michigan, northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, even down there into parts there of New England, where we could be seeing a huge freezing rain event, since we will be seeing temperatures just around freezing up there. And that even looks to continue once we even get into Monday of next week. But once again, we will even have that severe weather ongoing on the southern side of the system, where we could be seeing damaging winds, very large hail, and even a few tornadoes, one of which could be strong depending on how things look once we get there. So we will really keep an eye on it very closely, as things will really be on the concerning side of things. And let's look at the ingredients now, because in this area we are going to have plenty of energy to work with. Look at that. Down there in Texas, right around 4,000 joules per kilogram, where you see those purple colors. Down here in the deep south, we will likely see CAPE values between 3,000 to even as much as 4,000 joules per kilogram. Up here in the Ohio Valley, Tennessee River Valley, and even the Midwest, we could be seeing CAPE values as high as 3,000 joules per kilogram. So it's really going to be quite the amount of energy to work with up here in the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and even parts there of the deep south. And then for moisture, we are going to have plenty of moisture to work with, as well as we could be seeing 60-degree dew points even as far north as the Ohio Valley, which would be pretty crazy since we haven't really seen 60-degree dew points get as far north as these areas, which will be something to really keep an eye on very closely, as I am anticipating this to really come together, and of course being on the concerning side of things. And then for our wind shear, let's take this back just a little bit. For wind shear, right around the time frame when we're going to be doing with severe weather, we're going to have a pretty interesting looking jet. We're kind of going to have a flow like this, which is really going to help, feed those storms some energy. And that's one of the reasons why we are concerned about severe weather, due to how the jet stream is shaped up. So we will need to keep an eye on the system very closely, as we are going to have a lot of wind shear to work with in some of these areas. Now keep in mind that this is more just your average wind shear, since we are taking a look at an ensemble, but still we definitely could be seeing some pretty high winds in the atmosphere, potentially leading to strong tornadoes. So make sure you guys are all being on high alert out there, as I am anticipating this to at least be on the concerning side of things. Now the last thing I want to look at is going to be our total rainfall and also our total snowfall. Starting off with our total rainfall during this event, once again, areas down here in Texas during the next few days especially, you guys in this area right here could see rainfall totals anywhere between 3 to 5 inches down here in southern Texas, where we might even see some isolated higher amounts. Up here a little farther to the north, freezing rain once again will be possible up here in the Great Lakes region, and for how much rain we could see, we might be seeing around an inch of freezing rain depending on how this plays out. So make sure you guys up here across the extreme northern United States are getting ready for that. Areas across the Ohio Valley will likely see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, especially with these storms that are going to roll on through. So make sure you guys are all being on high alert out there, as I do think the Ohio Valley could also be one of those hot spots as well. And then last but not least, let's look at your total snowfall. Total snowfall is going to give us the idea about how much freezing rain and snowfall to expect, which once again, heavy snowfall will also be possible across northern Minnesota and as well as the UP of Michigan. While for freezing rain is going to be the bigger concern, as we could see anywhere from a half an inch to an inch of freezing rain with isolated higher totals potentially over 2 inches, guys. And now I'm really saying, guys, we could see almost 2 inches of freezing rain. And just to show you guys that, let's zoom into the UP of Michigan to give you guys a good idea about that. But I mean, this is just crazy. It's just crazy to see how, this is already looking, but just look at that. 1 inch of rain right there. Look at that. Southern Ontario, almost 2 inches of rainfall right there across Toronto. I think I said that right. And then even these areas over there in New England, potentially up to an inch of freezing rain, guys. Like I said, I was really meaning it when we could be seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of freezing rain, which would be devastating, by the way. So I really want you guys to get ready for this, as this storm will almost bring everything, including severe weather. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we are trying to reach 2,000 subscribers, and you can help me get there by subscribing to this channel, as it also really does help support the channel out a lot. Make sure to also give this video a thumbs up, especially if you find it helpful and informative, and make sure you also share this video with friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. Not only does that help support the channel out a lot, but I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.